Truly delighted to have you on Richard Mwanje Exclusive, the only point of call on matters political and governance analysis here in Kenya and across the region. I'm yours truly, Richard Mwanje. Welcome to the conversation. And today we advance the subjects shaping Kenya's political landscape. And who better to help me bring such conversations home than the firebrand himself, Kenya's most sought after political analyst and a renowned public scholar, Vihiga's biggest export, son of Mama Neria. How are you today? Nezia.
Yes.
How are you doing today, Herman Manyora?
Mwana wa Nezia is okay.
You are good?
Oh, I can't complain.
Today looking like a Gen Z, you are donning, sneakers.
Hii ni ugonjwa imetushika. Wametuambukiza ugonjwa.
Paka mzee.
Kila mtu sasa ni Gen Z.
Ataka kunywa maziwa?
Yeah, sisi hakuna nini. Wapi mzee? Sisi ni Gen Z sasa.
Ezekiel Mtu and you are distancing themselves from old age. Why?
No, we are Gen Z.
Because
Gen Zs are my grandchildren. So in where I come from, you are age mates to your grandchildren.
At a time when people are calling you and are told you to retire and go to the village.
To go where? How can Gen Zs retire? Sisi sasa ndio watu.
Bado mko hii town?
Na sisi ndio tuko. Kwa muda mrefu mtatuona. We are here for a little while.
Kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee?
Zote,
are you advocates of that?
Zote sasa. Kazi kwa wazee, pesa kwa wazee.
We are calling out on the government for not creating employment for our youth. And this is thanks to men like you who've been there for 40 years.
Yes.
Literally not working on policies, actions
Yes.
that are going to bring the jobs to us.
Why don't
you take concern with the generation?
The generation must work on them. No generation in the animal kingdom surrenders to the incoming generation. They are pushed out of the pack.
Power is grabbed.
Yeah. When you see a lone gazelle or a lone whatever, even lion, an old lion, it has been pushed out.
So then I'm curious to understand.
You are useless. Talk up.
Do you take collective bargain for bringing this nation to where it is, whereby we're seeing political woes, economic woes, and it is your generation that people like Musa Mwariama, Dedan Kimathi bequeathed the nation to? Tom Mboya.
Of course. We have failed this country. It's not a secret. We have failed the country.
You admit that?
We have failed the country. We have failed our children.
But then that should be the reason why you should be out of town and leave it to now the young tax.
We have to be chased out of town. That's what the message I'm saying. You have to chase us. We not go. This town is so good. Who can leave this town? This is where everything is.
But there is need for you to be Mandelas of the moment.
No.
To gracefully surrender.
Not everybody wants to surrender. Everybody goes down fighting.
But history doesn't remember such. They remember people who gracefully surrendered.
Pardon?
I mean, history remembers people who gracefully surrender to the changing fortunes of time.
History tells people to fight for their space. History does not expect people to be given anything. It doesn't even celebrate people who waited to be given. And giving has never produced great people. No generation that was given has ever been great. Look at the children we have brought up from, you are calling them millennials.
Millennials, yeah.
Look at how we have spoiled them. We still to buy houses for them. Oh, my daughter has just finished university. She's starting a job which you have bought for her. You have bribed. She has not struggled like other people. You have bribed for her to get that job.
Zero meritocracy.
She has taken it from the most deserving Kenyan. Your daughter has taken it. That's not enough. You come to Kilelesho and buy an apartment for her. Hey, I'm buying a small apartment for my daughter. She has gotten a job with
the World Bank.
The story of the caterpillar breaking loose of the butterfly. You know those stages.
Stages, yeah.
There's a stage in which it must break there to come out. That struggle to break is what informs the strength it has to fly away. So if you broke for it, it can't fly away. You know the butterfly comes from that cyst.
Yeah.
The lava, blah, that stage. I don't know, that's what. Is it what? Where it is, the thing has almost died, and then something will come from it. If you do everything for your children, those are the ones now we have. Even they get married, your boy gets married, he has never made his bed, he has never done anything he doesn't know anything. So the girl wonders, am I married to a man? Or who is this I'm married to? Because we have spoiled them. Once you have a generation that you give things to, that generation cannot survive.
Very well.
That's why you look in the animal kingdom. A time must come after birth when the young ones must be tossed into the world. Pushed.
To the deep end?
Yes. To swim across. Those who die, die. Those who survive become animals in the kingdom. So we want to pump our children. So don't wait for anybody. Your parents have given you everything. They have stolen, they have sacrificed, they have even killed to get money to give you houses and land and cars. And look at how useless. And I'm happy to see the generation is now waking up for the first time. I'm very happy.
You're going to retire a peaceful man.
Yeah, because nothing is given. When something is given is bad. There's nothing that comes out of being given anything.
Very well.
Yeah. Well, some of the people we admire from the West, children, after a certain age, they don't depend on their parents. We will still give them houses, cars, and others. After college, if you want some money, we can loan you. You can pay later.
No bailouts, handouts?
If you stay in the compound, you pay rent. And that's how you bring up a responsible young man or young woman.
Who find dignity in labor.
Yeah.
Then again, let's advance the conversations that are shaping today's political landscape. And how about we begin with the quarter that believes, much as we saw the Generation Z take concern with the presidency of William Ruto, and many of them believing he has failed them, there's a quarter who believes the president has people around him who have vested interest and he needs to get them out of his sight. More of, loosely translating to, raisi mbaya ni wenye wako kando yake ndio wabaya. Do you think that conversion still holds water to this day?
Yes, and true. Yes and no.
How then?
No, because at the end of the day, it's the president who will make the decision. Irrespective of how many advisors he has, who they are, how useless they are, or how good they are. At the end of the day, the decision will be made by the president. So no, those who hang around the president should not be blamed for his failures. Yes, because company will influence you whether you like it or not. Yes, because believability. For you to be a leader, people must believe in you to create acceptability and legitimacy, which is beyond the legal. The legal, you have succeeded when you win, and all the hurdles you have managed. If you have beaten people like Raila, they have gone to the court, you have defeated them, the legal is over, no dispute. But there's issue of legitimacy and acceptability. You build, that is what you build. So the people around you, and you need people to believe in you, to accept you, for them to see you are legitimate. That can be compromised by the sort of characters who hang around you.
Then again, for such characters who are around who are around the president, oftentimes do you say their company is informed by self-interest, more particularly primitive desire for accumulation of wealth?
It's very difficult under normal circumstances, especially in places like ours, to find genuine people around power. There could just be 1 or 2 people out of perhaps 100 or so people, 50 people, 30 people who hang around the president, who mean well for the president and who mean well for the country. But the rest are people there for what they are there for what they can get.
So from your optic, you believe there could be a cabal of people around President Ruto who are out there to flee the country, to fleece the country?
Not President Ruto, from President Kenyatta. And it's all over the place, we know. There are many things people did which Kenyatta didn't even know. There are many things, people who scared people during Moi's time. And Moi had nothing to do with those things. So it's not Ruto. It is the presidency that attracts all manner of characters.
You've mentioned that there's need for believability in the presidency and there's zero room for breach of trust. But if you see what is happening from the lenses of the Gen Z, they believe that Caesar's wife is beyond reproach. But the case with President Ruto, they believe he has taken a radical departure from that. So how do you think this is going to play out in their minds in the near future?
Exactly what I'm saying. You have to be mindful of who hangs around you. Much more so, you have to be mindful of what the people think first about the people around you, and after that, about you. It's important. Because perception in public space is everything. It's really the substance. Perception, what do people think? What do they perceive you to be? So if they want to define you, they want to see who you are, then they see so-and-so there, they dismiss quickly. They say, you can't be anything. If so-and-so is next to you, so-and-so, these are the people you listen to, they dismiss you. They know you can't, nothing good can come from you. Yet you can be a very good president. You could be a very good president. You could mean well for the country. And yet you are squandering that up because you need the goodwill of people for you to work for the people. Because this is the 21st century. The days of Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, and all those people who single-handedly created empires are gone. Today, you need the goodwill of the people. If you are a leader in an organization, a company, an organization, a school, you are a principal, you are a school head boy, whatever they call them, a leader. If you are moving without looking behind to know whether people are with you, you are going nowhere. In fact, in today's world, you need to move like this. Nobody should be behind you. You make sure you can see each other as you move. So if you are the president and you are moving alone, you will not go far. And if you are surrounding yourself with people who make it very difficult even for old friends to come and say hi to you. Of course, the president is not a place you just walk in and out. It's not a beehive.
Gatekeepers in the house.
Yeah, but by saying to access the president doesn't mean physical access. Yeah.
Very well. Moving on swiftly. So then again, we saw a few days ago Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, while in Mombasa, admitting that this regime has failed, or rather, their favor in the eyes of the people has been compromised. They no longer have that solid goodwill from the people. And let me ask you, should this public mood go on into the near future? Will this then rubber stamp Ruto's sort of one-term presidency, which many people are thinking it's going to play out that way?
It's possible. It's possible. You know, all I can say is anybody who thinks they can wish this revolution away, they are daydreaming. It's not anything you'll wish away.
Less at their own peril.
Yeah. It's going to affect this country in more ways than many people want to imagine. More ways than people would think they know or know. So, if you ignore it, like any change, they say the only thing that is permanent in this world is change. When change comes, you can't stop it. Nobody has ever managed to do that. Even great empires have fallen because they fail to appreciate the mood of the time, the wind of change that is blowing. If you don't do that, it will sweep you away. Strong forces, changes come with strong forces. Many people realize when it is too late, when they are already in the dustbin of history. So, trying to fight change is not the right thing. Understanding the change from its causes to what is influencing this, to what people are thinking, to what world is being created, and how you can fit into that world. I've given people the example of Gen Z. I don't think Gen Z in their right senses want to imagine they can remove Ruto and become president. I doubt. No. They are not even imagining they can put one of their own in. They know it will be a challenge, even if the money to put one there, even a millennial. They know it will be very difficult for them. So why are they talking about state house and things? They don't want to take over power. All they want is to know we care. And we know they are there. And we can listen. Because they are our children and grandchildren.
Sure.
Is there somebody in the Gen Z who is not our child and a grandchild? No. They are just surprised that we think they are just there. They are like furniture in our house.
Children of a lesser God.
So they are not talking about Ruto or the government. They are talking about you as a father. You as a grandfather. They are saying, look here, we live in this house, but it's like we are not there. Sisi in the furniture kwa hii nyumba hakuna tofauti. That's what Gen Z is saying. So appreciating that we have made a mistake not to listen to them, and we begin to appreciate them, they just want to know we are listening. And we know what they are talking about. And we give them hope by beginning to do things and change things. That's all they are looking for. They want us to continue being president and prime minister and everything, and including chief cabinet secretary. They don't mind us being leading them, because they don't want to imagine. I don't think they imagine for now they can replace us that easily. But they just want us to lead them, but with the knowledge that they are there and the future belongs to them. Every time we do something that compromises the future, we are not affecting ourselves, we are affecting them. So once they can see, we see that.
But this hope that you're talking about, it seems far-fetched from their lessons. And why am I saying so? Even after the president declined to assent to the finance bill of 2024, we still saw a section of politicians allied to Kenya Kwanza regime advance the condescending tone on the Gen Zs anytime they were taking concern with them, even after the president directed that the bill be withdrawn. Should this trend go on, especially for people like Alice Nganga, Member of Parliament for Thika, David Ndi, some state officers there, in this condescending tone, how is that likely to play out in the near future?
You see, you talk about hope. Hope is not something you talk about. Just talk. Hope you do things that send the message. I've said this repeatedly. I expected the president to send a message of hope to the young people. Not just withdrawing the bill, but telling them, I feel you, understand you. And there are people who have failed me. I've also failed you, but as a president, I rely on people, experts and advisors. For me to get where I am, to annoy you, my children, to this level, there must be people responsible for this. And people like David Ndi, I'm sorry to mention, because he's the one we know there. These others, you can't know them. That's the problem of being known. Ile kujulikana ndio inakuletea shida. There are many advisors that you know, even one apart from Ndi. I can't remember one. There's one or two I know. But they don't come to mind. So that's why Ndi represents that cabal of people trying to masquerade or as advisors and experts. They are not real. So I expect the president to send the signal to the young people that I mean business by sending some of these people home. Then you look at your cabinet. Say, okay, Kenyans have never liked the way this minister works. This is the time to take him home. Home, go. And the people you bring in should inspire confidence. Then you go to principal secretaries, so and so, take home. Then you go to the house. Osoro is a good young man. Like in the way he has been talking to the public, I cannot convince the people I'm serious about change if Osoro is still the leader. Ambia Osoro, you are a good man. Sababu ulikuwa umezoea maisha mzuri, enda kutengeneza ka kampuni, utakuwa unapata kibiashara kidogo, lakini hii hapana, iachana nayo.
Be a business leader, not
do other thing, not house whip, chief whip. Because tutaanguka sisi wote, we shall all go. The ship will sink.
Same.
That's how people do across the world. It's not creation of Manyora until the president makes certain moves. Nobody will believe he's serious.
So it is not enough to take the blame squarely at the doorstep of Nurdin Haji of NIS. There is more the president could have done.
The president does not blame Nurdin.
DP Gachagua has.
Yeah, DP Gachagua has. He could be, maybe Gachagua has a point. Look, you see, the deputy president of the country has information you and I don't have. Is that right?
Sure.
So we give him the benefit of doubt.
Information asymmetry.
Yeah, he knows something I don't know, you don't know. But again, we also know when things are bad, there's something like scapegoating. So you look for the fall guy.
Sacrificial lamb?
Yes. So it is possible. But again, it is possible that the guy failed them. You know what? It's unlikely government could have walked all this course without part of its action being informed by advice from some quarters. That's what I'm saying. Gachagua knows what I don't know and what you don't know. There are many things he knows we don't know because he's the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. So when he speaks, we give him the benefit of doubt. But we also know, even as he blames Haji, we know that when things are bad, people also look for scapegoats. So they could be sacrificing Haji, and maybe Haji has no mistake. Maybe the system, maybe even NIS, let's call it NIS. Maybe NIS has some structural weaknesses. And therefore Gachagua is right that NIS has failed
the presidency.
So Gachagua could be right. But you could be wrong to place the blame on an individual NIS.
You should have done that to the institution.
Yes. Or maybe you could be right. Actually, it's Nuru, but we don't know. But we wish him the best.
You wish him the best.
Yeah.
You've talked about the need for state officers.
I wish all of them the best, because when they are doing well, the country will do well. I hope they share the wellness with the rest of the country.
Sure. Very lastly, you've talked about the need for state officers, public servants to be beyond reproach. But if you look at even the current executive, there are people who've been involved in graft cases. Some are still pending in court. At a time when the Gen Z have a raft of demands, very serious demands, especially to touch on corruption, would you then advise President Ruto to first think fast, either reshuffle the cabinet, or at least just fire them? Because if it's transferring, it's sort of transferring incompetency. Would you advise him to send people home, or at least reshuffle the cabinet?
You know, sometimes it's just something symbolic. When things are so bad, people expect you to shed some little, to shed off some people. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes it's not quite an overhaul. Of course, ideally, it should be an overhaul. Because so long as people see you associating with certain characters, they'll find it difficult to believe what you are saying. Your intentions may be noble, but there will always be doubts. There will always be doubts. Like, huyu anakaa na huyu anahang out na huyu. Ngoja tuone basi. Let's wait and see.
You've always doubted Susan Nahumicha, CS for Health.
I've not doubted her. I've just said she's a very good person, but the ministry she has been given is too big for her. The responsibility, she's not up to that. She's punching beyond her weight.
How about your friend Moses Kuria?
Even Moses Kuria is a very intelligent. There are very few ministers who are as intelligent as Moses Kuria. But something gets to him. I don't know what he eats.
But why his tone?
I don't know what he eats. But he's a good man. Very intelligent.
It could be something outside the normal menu?
Yeah, the menu could contain many things. Menus keep getting adjusted and improved, and...
Yeah. Why are you defending him, but you're so hard on David Ndi, your friend?
I've not defended Kuria. I've said Kuria is a very intelligent man, but his utterances lead one wondering what he had for breakfast.
On a very light note, and very lastly, do you still hold the thought that maybe we should endorse the proposal by Senator of Nandi, Samson Cherargei, that has to do with extension of presidential term limit from 5 years to 7 years, just so to get better service delivery and development?
That's a conversation. I like that. I like the conversation. It shows we are active. We are conscious. And democracy cannot exist when we go to sleep. We must continuously look at our governance structure and the issues of our democracy and the structures we are put in place. Even the Supreme Court, we can begin asking, do we need a Supreme Court? Since we put it there, has it brought any difference? What we thought a Supreme Court would do, informed by the violence of 2000, has it lived up to that expectation? And the honest opinion is no. So do we still need it? How can we make it better if we need it? 5 years, are they enough? Why don't we have 7 years, one term?
Only a single term for each president?
Yeah. Which I would support myself. So you don't care about re-election. You just serve Kenyans without caring about all you takatakas praising as Akuna, because you are not seeking for election. Because if 7 years, do your job and go home. 7 years is enough for a president to bring change and transform his society. You hand on the baton to the next person, you go home. Hakuna kuchaguliwa tena. Sasa hapo, watu wakikuja kunywa chai wakunywe na waondoke. Wasianze kukuletea story mrefu sababu unajua unataka kura 2027. Hapana, wewe unafanya miaka yako nenda. So these conversations are healthy.
So you read so much wisdom behind Cherargei's proposal?
There's no problem. It's something we shall look at, dismiss. But
the question is why now? At a time when this regime is on a turmoil.
There is no time. There is not. He didn't bring it during this time. He brought it
2 months, 3 months thereabout.
There's nothing wrong. Somebody also suggested there should be no term limits. I support it. I have no problem with the limitless terms. Because the term of a president is defined by your vote, not by something written down on paper. It's you who gives the president a term.
So if you go back to having
if you don't want to give the president even one term, you can't give him. And when he has done one term. It's you who renew that term with your votes. So why do you want to bother writing it in law?
So you won't be surprised in the near future we see a president staying in power for 24 years like
50
Moi.
years. 50. Because, Richard, some of the greatest empires in the world were not created in 2 days.
Okay.
There were people who were in power for 30, 40, 50, and what they left behind were huge empires and kingdoms nobody would have imagined could exist.
That went
on
ahead
the face of the
time?
world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That can be done here?
Yes, why not?
We could be that Singapore of
We
Africa?
are lazy. We are lazy. We think we shall limit the president by some things on paper. And Gen Z is telling you no. You can write your stupid things in the constitution. When it gets to a point we see they are not working for, we shall tell you off. So it's not what is written on paper in the constitution. It's what people collectively think will work for them. If a president has been given 5 years and he has made a mess of those 5 years, we don't renew it. We don't need somebody to tell us there's a term limit. No, we just don't renew it. Why are we being lazy? If the president is elected in 2022 and by 2024 we confirm he's not taking us anywhere, we can tell him politely to go home through a vote. Is he provided for in the constitution?
No confidence.
Yeah, we impeach him and he goes home. We have the power.
The sovereign power.
You don't need to write term limits. What are term limits? If Ruto does a good job, he can go there for another 30 years. What's the problem?
For once, you haven't dismissed Chege. That one is quite a shocker.
Chege is my neighbor, so I don't want to dismiss him.
When the other day you were saying you don't credit him with deeper thinking.
You can. No. You always should learn to separate a man and whatever he suggests. Many people make a mistake of investing their ego in their positions. You have a position on an idea. I should interrogate that position or that suggestion outside you.
Sure.
I should separate you and what you have said. If you say Ruto should go for 20 years, I should not look at you before interrogating the idea of Ruto for 20 years.
20 years.
I should just look at the idea of 20 years. What are the benefits?
Pros and cons.
Yeah. Then I agree with those who say no. We've been there before, let's not go back there. Or it was bad in the 60s and 70s, but today, in the 21st century, we will check you. In other words, we will check you.
Sure.
So, let's even remove the term limits. Wakati wa kukwambia enda home, tunakwambia to just go home peacefully. We don't demonstrate. There's nobody in the streets. Because we shall have put the right members of parliament in parliament. They will read the mood. They say Kenyans do not want President Gachagua when Gachagua is president, or President Mudavadi. You have done 1 year, then MPC, this man is taking the country nowhere. They go to parliament, na wafanye hiyo kitu.
Failure to which wananchi watawasalimia.
Ingia Senate, Senate ifanye hiyo kitu. Na msee ambiwe, enyewe umejaribu lakini you are a little unable. Go back to your wife or to your husband.
Go back to Luombe.
Yeah, leave Kenyans alone. So that's the Kenya I would want to live in. A Kenya where people know the power they have. And when you go and vote for an MCA, you know the man or woman you are voting for at that low level is more important to you than the president in your life. And the decision that MP will make in parliament or fail to be there, fail to speak in parliament even once, and you re-elect him, that failure or that bad law he's helping to make, either deliberately or not going to parliament or not speaking, then the few bad people make bad laws. They will affect you, your children, and their children. That's the Kenya I want to live in. I want to live in a Kenya where people understand that one individual cannot change society.
Collective effort.
Collective. And we have a responsibility, a civic responsibility, to ensure we participate in the affairs of our country. We don't have to wait until Gen Zs riot and expose themselves to danger. We have to start as early as 2027, where every voting age adult has a voting card and they turn out to vote, so that the anger expressed by Gen Z in the recent demonstration, I want to see that anger in 2027, where more than 50% of members of parliament should be millennials and Gen Zs. Because the way they see the world is not the way we see the world. And the world must be led by people who understand where the world is and where it is going. It can't be us. We are there to give guidance, allow us to stay a little longer to guide you, but we want more of you in parliament. So if Gen Z will just make noise in Nairobi today, come 2027, all the thieves go back to parliament, I'll be a very disappointed Kenyan.
Disappointed father and grandfather.
I'll be very disappointed great-grandfather.
Well, there you have it. You've heard it from Herman Manyora, dispensing nuggets of wisdom on how better our leaders can check how they're conducting their business in parliament, in the state offices they hold, and also how we as the electorate and citizens at large, we can just accordingly so that we bring Kenya forth to the heights we all desire it to be in. Until next time on Richard Mwanja Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Herman Manyora, thank you for your insights. Wait to see you on the next conversation.
Thank you too.
Stay glued to this channel. Up next on your screen is the show by Jadiel Kabiro and Evans Okinyi. You don't want to miss out on them.